Good morning, everybody. We're so glad you're with us today. We've got a jam-packed show. This is Undisputed. I'm Jen Hale. You know those guys. Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. How are we today, gentlemen?
I am great. How are you, Jen?
You're not as good as 12.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thomas, Edward, Patrick, Brady Jr. did it again. And I understand after the game he actually dedicated this comeback to you, Shannon Sharp.
I'm just trying to figure out, in the first 55 minutes, you talking about how pathetic the Bucs offense looked, and then you talking about he did it again.
How do you know? Do you
I'm
follow
just
me?
asking you a question. I'm just asking you a question.
You follow me on Twitter?
The first 55 minutes, you talking about they didn't have a pulse. They looked terrible.
Well, am I right?
Am
I right?
He did it again.
Well, he did it again.
No, the Saints did it again.
Oh, so that's going to be your take.
Yes, it's absolutely going to be my take.
Well, I was wonderful, Shannon, until Skip brought up that game last night.
Yes.
All right, let's jump right in, guys. At least for me, yank the Band-Aid off. Tom Brady leading another fourth quarter comeback last night, getting the ball with 5:21 left in the fourth. Brady and the Bucs were down 16-3. Looks so good for my Saints. Then Brady led Tampa on back-to-back touchdown drives, with the game-winning throw coming with only 3 seconds left on the clock. Shannon, please help me here. How do you explain what happened in the last 5 minutes of the game last night?
Well, for me, last night was more about the mistakes that the Bucs made as opposed to what Tom Brady did. Give the Bucs credit, the defensive credit, for keeping the New Orleans Saints out of the end zone, Skip. But it was the mistakes, and you saw the mistakes, and it started early. Mark Ingram has an opportunity. Skip, I just can't. I don't even want to talk anymore. I just want to show the people at home the mistakes that led Tom Brady being able to do what he did. Now, look at this. All Mark Ingram has to do is get the first down. He runs out about a yard short. Mark Ingram, what are you doing? And I tweeted, remember that play? Remember that play. That's the difference in winning and losing ball games. That explains why teams lose and some teams win. And he said, well, he had a pulled hamstring. He went to the ground. So you mean to tell me he couldn't get one more yard on a pulled hamstring? And then the throw. Andy Dalton played as well as we've seen Andy Dalton play in a long time.
Agreed.
And you see, can we see the throw that he made? He made a couple of throws that were sensational last night.
Sensational.
That he didn't get the results that he need. Not that throw.
That was actually a pretty good D.
That was great defense, but I'm just trying to say, but you throw on third down. Why would you not just run the ball? Why not run the ball and run time off the clock, Dennis Allen? What are you doing here? But if you, Skip, you remember early in the first half, Olave dropped on third down. That would have got him in field goal range.
Right in the hands.
You had Jarvis Landry. It would have been a difficult catch. He scored the touchdown. That led to 3 points. And then the throw late in the ball game to Taysom Hill. You can't throw it any better than Andy Dalton threw the ball.
Cannot.
And he jarred it loose.
He did.
Skip, in order for a team to come back like the Bucs did late in a ball game like that, the other team has to do some things that puts them in harm's way. And look, Skip, you can't throw the ball any better than what he threw it. And Neal dislodged the ball. He didn't get an unnecessary roughness penalty. He didn't hit him in his head. He didn't hit him in your neck and shoulder area. Give him credit. But Taysom Hill has to make that catch. Mark Ingram has to get the first down and stay in bounds. So it was more about what the New Orleans Saints didn't do as opposed to what Tampa did do. Because for the first 55 minutes, the Tampa offense barely had a pulse. They had 196 yards before the final 2 drives. And Tom Brady was frustrated. He was overshooting Julio. He was skipping the passes to receivers. Mike Evans was getting frustrated because he picked Julio on one side, and he had a better shot at Mike Evans at the top of the screen on the other side.
Agreed.
And so he was getting frustrated. They were getting frustrated. They punted early in the fourth quarter twice, Skip. Once from their own 40, and the boo bird started coming out. So for me, Skip, give Tom his credit. Give the offense their credit because you still have to make those plays. But I believe last night was more about what the Saints didn't do as opposed to what the Bucs did do.
Okay. I hear everything you just said. I cannot disagree with any point you just made. A lot went into what got set up to happen with 5 minutes left in that game.
Yes.
A lot of mistakes were made. I would also suggest to you that if Sean Payton had still been coaching the Saints, they would have gotten that game home.
Oh, absolutely.
That's just me.
Absolutely, yeah.
Our man now, Sean Payton, and Dennis Allen is a great defensive coordinator, and he still coordinates a very good defense. But I think as a CEO, he leaves something to be desired.
Right.
And he had chances to step on the Bucs' proverbial throat several times. At one point, he had a 4th and 2 early in the fourth quarter. To me, you just go for it. You're up 16-3. You can absolutely drive the stake right through Brady's heart if you go score a touchdown. And no, he says, no, we'll play it safe. I'll just lean on my defense. You can't give this guy any more life. You can't give him one last breath. And they did give him one last breath with 5 minutes to go for all the reasons you just detailed. Now, allow me to explain to you why this was Tom Brady's greatest regular season comeback of his career. It was because of degree of difficulty. I have never seen anything like what I just witnessed last night with my own 2 eyes, because to your point, I'm tweeting because I just tweet the truth as I see it. They were hapless and hopeless and overmatched, and to the point that Tom Brady was looking, dare I say, washed. I thought I was going to come in here and have you say, Tom, it's time to go on home. Maybe you can go make amends with Giselle and go back with the kids and the family. I thought we were heading in that direction because the New Orleans Saints absolutely, completely, unequivocally own Tom Brady psychologically.
They did.
And I want to drive home the point to our viewers at home. Just what has happened to Brady since he became a Buck against his nemesis, New Orleans, within this division, his kryptonite within this division, the New Orleans Saints, because I can look back at 5 regular season games and 55 minutes last night. And guess what Tom was at that point when he took the ball with 5 minutes and whatever it was left in the game, 5:21. When he got the ball, 5:21. And he's down 16-3 at that point. At that point in his career as a Buck against the Saints, he had thrown 7 touchdowns to 9 interceptions. Does that sound Brady-esque?
No.
Does that sound goatish to you? No, it does not. And guess what the scores had been of the games at home against the Saints? These are the games in Tampa.
Right.
All of them primetime games on late night television, Sunday or Monday night. Guess what the scores were? You remember the game the first year, the 2020 year? It was 38-3, and Tom with 0 touchdowns to 3 interceptions and had a QBR of 4. On a scale of 0 to 100, he had a 4. Last year in December, it's been about a year ago, the Saints go in there and do a 9-0 on Brady and the Bucs, who were about to give the Rams all they wanted in a divisional playoff game, but it was 9-0. And then last night, as I just pointed out, with 55 minutes gone in the game, it's 16-3. So if I add up the cumulative scores of 2 home games and 55 minutes of a third home game, Tom Brady had lost to the Saints 63-6. Help me out. Is that not off the chart? By far, he has had more trouble against this team, even that he has against your Ravens in playoff games, because they've done some numbers on him, but not like this number. Wait, 63-6? It's impossibly bad to where he's got demons. I'm tweeting about how he's flinching, he's seeing ghosts. It's something about the defense because, as you know, they can just flat out rush 4 and get after him. Okay, so he's like gun shy, and he's looking and he's second guessing himself, and he's sitting over on the bench throwing another tantrum, not at anybody in general. He's just sort of throwing it at the universe.
Well,
you know, like why
last
me?
Night he was kind of more frustrated than himself because he knew he left some throws on the field.
All right. So the throws that he made early on. Let's see the back-to-backers because it's in the same series. He's got little Scotty Miller. He fooled him again, and he got a step, and Brady just he just didn't get it there. He just didn't get it. It's not that he doesn't have the arm, because he still got the arm. He just underthrew it. It's maybe a yard short, and it gets broken up because of that. And then he comes right back to the other side to Julio, and he says, I'm going to overcompensate, and I'm going to overthrow him. Right? Okay, those are throws that usually the GOAT makes. Because all he's done is win 7 Super Bowls, and usually on primetime nights, he makes those throws.
The one that he threw to Scotty Miller, he aimed it. You could tell, look at him, he's like, ooh, I got you.
I'm just going to drop it right down the chimney.
He should have threw the one to Scotty Miller like you threw to Julio.
Okay, I got it. And then it's like overcompensation, and then you overthrow Julio, and now he's losing his mind because he says, this team is in my head. And they didn't, I thought maybe Marshawn Lattimore would be back last night, and he wasn't even back, and Brady still can't find anybody. Okay, and then we got the interception late in the first half.
DeMario Dawson fooled him.
Yeah, he just fooled him.
DeMario Davis. He fooled him, Skip.
He just didn't see him. If we could see the interception, and it's horrendous. It's just horrendous.
Skip, watch what he does.
Yep.
He checks like he's going to take the back, and then he falls back. Like, I got you, Tom.
And right into the throwing lane, and he got him.
He got him. He fooled him.
And if they cash a touchdown there, it could be over. It could be over, but the defense held on. So now I've got to give the Tampa Bay defense credit. It has not been great this year,
Skip,
but it's been very good. I got it, but like Pro Football Focus ranks them 18th among defenses, but whatever. Okay, the point is they hung in and they hung on and they hung in and they hung on, and they did some bad things and they gave up a couple of big plays, but they did a lot of little good things where they hung and hung and hung tough. And yet you've got to hang in enough that good things can start to happen. So again, let's go to that 531 mark. Okay, so it's looking bleak, and all of a sudden Brady goes 91 yards in 10 plays. But the turning point play for me, the icebreaker for Brady is 2nd and 20 at New Orleans 45 with 3:10. 3:10 left.
Why are you playing man coverage in this?
He hadn't done anything the whole game. Mike Evans really hasn't done much of anything. And finally, Brady throws a decent deep ball that could have been caught except for the foul that occurred, and it was blatant pass interference.
Skip, what have we learned about Tom Brady? Late in the ball game, what's he going to do? Go back and look at the Rams game last year in the divisional. What did he do, Skip?
Jalen Ramsey.
He's going to take the shot.